Well, hello, Erin and Emily, especially. We will talk about Ayurveda today, and my apologies for taking a little while to put this video together. As you know, life is in a flow. So I'm glad that you are both watching this video. And I'm going to be brief and I'm going to be concise and I'm going to go straight to the point. And what I want to share with you guys is that if there is any questions in relations to this content, please send me an email and let me know with your questions. Definitely, I would love to hear a feedback of what you got from the content, what supports you, what it didn't support you, and how you like this flow. I know that I have talked a little bit with Emily, and Emily said that she remember a bit that we talk about Ayurveda, and she dove in. And I know, Emily, that you are gobbling up some information there. So if there is anything that you would like to add later on in this conversation, please don't hesitate to let me know. Okay, so initially, what is Ayurveda? Ayurveda really is the sister science for yoga. And sister science for yoga, that I mean, as you know, that yoga is union and Ayurveda is also union, although Ayurveda is the study of life. And anything that we connected through yoga, as we talk so much during teacher training, is that there's nothing that's separate from anything. Everything is together. Everything, like my eye is connected to my ear, that's connected to my mouth, that's linked to my nervous system, that's linked to my bones, that's linked to everything. Yeah. So my eyes is also connected to the air that's flowing in this room, is connected to this computer, eventually to you when you're listening to this video, and when you're watching with your own eyes to this video. So anyway, everything is connected. And within the vision of Ayurveda is that we see the body as a whole, but we see the body as a macrocosmos from the microcosmos, meaning the body is this small cosmos in relations to the big cosmos. Yeah, and I don't understand why it seems that the color is changing a little bit. I guess that's zone. So anyway, we will see how to take care of the body in relations to the overall world that's living around us. Okay? So Ayurveda see life overall through the seasons, through nature, to the elements. Yes, similar than what we see and what we talk about with the chakra system. But Ayurveda see in a certain levels of constitution. So when you look in a person's body, they divide the person's body in 3 different types of constitution. Yeah? They have a Kapha constitution, they have a Pitta constitution, and they have a Vata constitution. Yeah, and I will write for you guys the terms, but just for you to start visualizing that. And what are those? Those are ways that we as human beings express in this avenue of life. Yeah? So as I mentioned, it's through all the 5 elements. So if you have someone that has a constitution of Vata, Vata means the energy of movement, and is VATA. That's Vata. That's the energy of movement. And Vata is a combination of air, yeah, and space, also connecting some with water. So air, water, and space, but especially air. Yeah, that's the constitution of a Vata person. So think about air / water and space. Yeah. Then we're gonna have the Pitta. The Pitta constitution is Pitta. Pitta constitution is fire. So is fire is the primarily, and is fire and some air and some earth, but the primary goat of Pitta is fire. And then we have Kapha. And Kapha is water. Yeah, it's water and earth. So Vata is air and space, some water. Pitta is fire and air, some water. Kapha is earth and water, primarily. Yeah. So if we think in about constitutions that we all have a little bit of each one of them. Yeah, everybody is 3 dosha, although we have 1 or 2 that are primarily expressing within ourselves. And so many times we express more, and again, through life, we all have that expression. Through life, we have expressions of fire, to be very active, to be very focused, to be very go, 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 go. Sometimes we all have expression of air. So we float in the air, look at a squirrel, and we are light and we are flowing through life. And sometimes we have expression of kapha. We are lethargic, we might be going through something and we are just ground down. Yeah, so we all have expression of the 3 expressions of nature, 3 constitutions. But if we go and connect it a little bit more about how is the formation of our bones, how is the formation of our skin, how is the formation of our ability to think, how is our individual likes and dislikes, we will observe that we have a dosha that's more enhanced. Like, for example, if we think about the 3 of us, you, Aaron, you, Emily, me, Lydie, I can see I have a lot of vata inside of me. I am, my body's petite. The formation of my bodies are muscles and bones are petite, and I do have some levels of dryness in my body, and also I do have a lot of characteristics of air. Sure, you have seen me on fire, and many times I get lethargic too. Yeah, but my primary constitution is a lot on vatas. Like, for example, a lot of the food that I feel that I need, I gear more towards vata type of food that's going to nourish more my air. And like, for example, if you look in Emily also has a lot of fire. She has a lot of, she has a lot of air. She's a lot of vata too. Sure, does she have some fire? Yes. Does she have some kapha? Yes. Just like Aaron has a lot of kapha. Yes, there is that constitution in the body. There is that groundness. There is the motherly aspects of Aaron. Yeah, that's a lot of kapha. But she also has some air. You also had some air, right, Aaron? You also had some fire. Yeah. And more, if you connect it to that list that I gave to you guys, you're going to gear more into foods that you feel more, that will satiate you in a particular time in life. And why did I say in a particular time in life? Because many times you might be in a lack of balance in one of the doshas. For example, sometimes if I feel in lack of balance of my vata, yeah, if I feel cold, if I feel too much air, if I have been traveling a lot in airplanes, I start gearing to foods that has a little more spice in it, because I want to bring a little more fire to an excess of my air. Yeah, so I want to drop my air a little bit. So I'm going to bring a little bit more of my pitta to drop down some of the vata. Yeah, many times if I feel super going like crazy and I'm burning my fuses off, I might start to feel that I need a little bit more potato. I feel that I need a little bit more sleep, a little bit more groundedness. I need some water and I need some earth. I need some kapha. So internally, we have this wisdom that we're going to start balancing out ourselves uh, through food, one point. Also through activities. And you guys know, many times you feel ready to go to that Zumba class, or you feel ready to go for Aaron's booty yoga. Yeah, because you want that fire. You want that activity. You want that flow. Maybe you are like expressing your pitta in that moment, or expressing parts of your vata that it is movement, right? Now, many times you wake up and you say, forget it. I just need restorative class. I just want to lay down and chill out and really stretch gently, calm music. Yeah. So in that perspective, how can we know when to work with students? Yeah. Like, for example, if you start receiving students, a lot of students that's very vata, that they have a lot of airy energy, that they don't feel grounded, that they are going everywhere, they feel confused, they cannot hold a thought because there's too much happening in their minds. It would be very important to do a grounding practice. Yeah. To bring more that grounding expressions, that earth, their water. Yeah, maybe you can do a grounding practice with watery music, or with elements that's going to activate their water. That's their second chakra. Yeah, we can always combine the Ayurveda and the chakra system and so on, because, they are all science together. Now, if you know somebody that's super pitta, you are not gonna telling them to come only for the sun salutation classes. Yeah. Off and on, you're going to flow with some moon salutations. You're going to ask them to come to some restorative classes. And yourself, when you start feeling way too fire and you feel that your fire is in lack of balance, you start to bouncing down into restorative practice, bouncing down into more calming visualization, calming food, calming listenings, activities that are calming, maybe drawing and painting. Yeah, so I start to balance it out in that perspective. I will send you some material for sure, and I will send you a couple of books. As a matter of fact, before I keep on talking, I want to share my screen in relations to this particular picture. I think that I had sent in one of the emails, but I love those three books. They are very, very, very profound and kind of easy and complex at the same time to read. This first one here is David Frawley, and David Frawley was the student from Dr. Vasant Lad. Anything that you buy, that you connect, that you read from Dr. Vasant Lad is phenomenal. As a matter of fact, the handout that I will send to you is from Dr. Vasant Lad. And also Robert Svoboda, that's this hidden secrets of Ayurveda. Robert, he is phenomenal. Anything from any of the three people, you are in very good hands. As a matter of fact, Dr. Vasant Lad, he's the one that just bought, let me stop here. He's the one that just bought Asheville Yoga Center, and they are turning into a Ayurvedic school, combined into the yoga school. He used to have the Ayurvedic school in New Mexico, and he just moved to Asheville. So he's here really close to us. If you want more juiciness and understanding deeper Ayurveda, that's a beautiful place to go. But anyway, we have constitutions. Again, the vata, that's the water and the air. The water, space, and air, especially air and space. Pitta, that's the fire and water, but fire and air too. And kapha, that's primarily earth and water. And as you guys did that assessment, you observe foods that were more connected to Pitta, you observe more expressions of the body that were more connected to Kapha or to Vata. Like dry skin would be more Vata, oily skin would be more Kapha. Yeah. Heat on the system would be more Pitta. Like cold hands, cold feet, it would be more Vata. Believe it or not, it would be more Vata. Vata in a lack of balance. Yeah. Yes. So besides this, we have, well, the 3 constitutions that I mentioned to you, and we also have, let's see, I put a note here for me, and we also have the fundamentals, the gunas. Those are the doshas. Doshas are the constitutions. Let me just put the word here. Doshas. Doshas are the constitution, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And then we have the gunas. The gunas that I'm going to put on the other side of this paper or in another paper. And the gunas are the elements of nature in a way that, let me see something here that I cannot connect it here. Within the elements that we have the earth, the water, the fire, the air, and the space, those elements, there are some tendencies of those elements to create the gunas. And the gunas are expressions of those tendencies. For example, as I share to you what they are, you will understand what I mean. They have the tamas, they have the rajas, and they have the sattvas. So the gunas, the tendency of those elements are tamas, rajas, and sattvas. What does that mean? Tamas is when something gets very humid and lethargic. Yeah, that has lethargic, lack of energy. So I'm gonna put low energy, high energy, and equilibrium. So tamas has low energy, is lethargic. Rajas has too much energy, is too activated. And sattva is in perfect balance. Like, think about it. Like, for example, a tamas would be a pond that it doesn't have any moving water. And if the pond stay without any moving water, it's going to start becoming full of fungus, and it's going to be that lethargic flow. Stuff doesn't move too much. Sure, there is life, right? It's just like with us. When we get super lethargic and we stop moving, we don't do anything, life is still happening, but it doesn't have that high level of energy. It doesn't have a specific growth, positive growth. On the rajas, if it's too much accelerated, you know, sometimes something is too accelerated. For example, if you get a raging ocean, the whole time, if the raging ocean does not stop at all, there are some life that cannot survive with too much energy. Yeah, look, the sun. If we didn't have the atmosphere, we would not be able to survive because of the radiation of the sun, because the sun has too much energy. You know, while sattva is that place of balance, is that the lake that still has moving water, sometimes has some wind that moves that water, sometimes is a little more calm, but there is life happening. So that's the balance. And we go through life in this way. Like, for example, if we only practice restorative and our life is very slow, that can be beautiful to balance if you are too high up. But if you keep doing that over and over and over and over, it becomes too much low energy. You need to spice it up a little bit. The opposite's true. If we keep going without taking a break, without resting well, without rebalancing our body, we cannot sustain. It's going to get to the point that we're going to get ill somehow, right? Now, if we are taking care of ourselves and we are balancing with a good amount of energy in activities and a good amount of rest, that's sattva, that's balancing. Yeah, especially if we rest in a way that supports our dosha. For example, if you are a dosha primarily kapha, you rest a little longer, you sleep longer hours. Yeah? If you are, for example, primarily pitta, you also need to sleep, but you can go ahead and sleep to balance it out. You would sleep a little early in the evening rather than going to sleep 12 o'clock at night or 1 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, so how can I balance that out? Cool. And I said something that can create a confusion when I mention about kapha. Kapha does already has a tendency to sleep a lot. So in other words, in kapha, if you are balancing the kapha, you would go to bed early, but you would wake up a little earlier. You would wake up maybe at 6, maybe at 5:30, when you start your day then, rather than you sleep too late. Because if kapha sleeps for a long period of time, that also creates more lethargy. Cool. Okay. So where do we go from here? A little bit more in relations to food. And what I'm going to show you, you guys, I'm going to even show you here on the share screen. And that's what I'm going to send to you. So you're going to just see on the share screen, but you're going to have on your inbox. As soon as I send you the video, you will have on your inbox. So let me share the screen, and that's this one here. Let's share this one here. So what I want to share here, Vata, and don't look about the Pitta right now. General guidelines for balancing Vata. Remember, when I mentioned Vata is the energy of movement, is the energy of air, is the energy of space. So, and you're going to have all this information you can read in details, but guidelines for balancing Vata. You keep yourself warm because Vata is air and space, and that can feel cold. Vata has a tendency to have cold hands, cold feet, cold extremities, and feel cold all the time. So you keep warm, you keep calm. Remember, if there is a lot of wind, there is a lot of agitation. Vata people has a tendency to create a lot of agitation in the life and anxiety. That can be a Vata with lack of balance. So to maintain a balanced Vata, keep warm, keep calm, avoid cold or frozen or raw foods. Vata really likes warm foods. Avoid extreme cold, eat warm foods and spices, keep a regular routine, and get plenty of rest. Why does it say a regular routine? And routine is important for Vata because Vata has a tendency again to be too airy, to move too much. So if there is routine, there is groundiness into Vata. Now Pitta, that's the energy of digestion and metabolism because it's the fire. Yeah, it's the activity. So to maintain guidelines for balancing Pitta, avoid excess heat, avoid excess oil, avoid excessive steam, yeah, because they already have a lot of heat in themselves. Limit salt intake because salt can bring more heat to the system. Eating cooling, non-spice foods, exercise during the cooler part of the day. In other words, They are not going to exercise during summer at 12 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the afternoon doing sun salutations, because that is going to just enhance their vata. I mean, enhance their pitta. And that can bring too much pitta, will bring pitta in a lack of balance. And if pitta is in a lack of balance, they might become angry, irritated, fired up to the point that it's like it's easy for them to create very uncomfortable conversations, yeah, create explosions. Kapha, the energy of lubrication, water, earth. There is a lot of oil in Kapha. So guidelines for balancing Kapha: get plenty of exercise, otherwise they get lethargic. Avoid heavy foods, because they already have this sense of earth and water, so there is a certain level of heaviness. Keep active. Avoid dairy. This because there is a lot of water and earth, and dairy has a tendency to create mucus. Water and earth creates mucus. So Vata should not utilize too much dairy in their diet. Avoid ice foods or drink. Vary your routine, yeah, because Vata has a tendency to just stay still on the same way. So it's important to have a mixture. Avoid fatty, oily foods because they already have a lot of oil in themselves. Eat light, more towards a dry food, because their consistency is already with a lot of water. And do not take daytime naps. Otherwise, they're going to create even more lethargy in themselves. Okay, so that's really important. And on these books that I mentioned to you, like, for example, this book here that I show you, most of the Ayurveda book has this. So they have tables about food tables, what to eat, what not to eat, what would be best to avoid according to each one of the constitution. Yeah. And I'm not going into details because this is just slight flow into the base of Ayurveda. And the Ayurveda, the main principle is just like, in a way, just like yoga. Each person is an individual, even knowing that we are a microcosm into the macrocosmos. Yeah, we are connected to everything. I'm connected to you both. I'm connected to all the elements in nature as you are. Yeah, but each one of us are expressing our inner elements a little bit different because of the our choices, because of our constitution, because of where we live, the family, the thoughts, the feelings, the expressions of ourselves. So to use an Ayurvedic healing treatment is also going to be individual for each person. Aaron's Vata is different than Emily's Vata. That's different than Stephanie or Lindsay or Kay or anybody from teacher training. The same as the expression of your Pitta, the expression of your Kapha. So each one needs to be analyzed individually. Sure, that there are some bases of, like I mentioned to you, if the Pitta is too high, you're not going to give them to go to a sun salutations at 2 o'clock in the afternoon during summer. You're going to support them to go more to a restorative early in the morning or in the evening. Yeah, they can even do a high level practice that has sun salutations and so on, but in the morning or not so late in the evening, because then it's going to affect their sleeping time. But in the morning would be the ideal. Yeah, so that would be kind of for the majority of people. But once you start doing a specific individual treatment, Ayurveda treatment, that would be when Ayurveda practitioner would connect it to the person. They would analyze their eyes, they would analyze their color, their tongue, their nails, their pulse, their lips. So there are so many different ways to really, yeah, I cannot use another word, but analyze the person, how much the imbalance is happening and what is necessary to support them. Some people might be a couple of different herbal teas. For some people might be a couple of enemas. For some people might be cold showers. For some might be hot showers. Yeah, for some people might be some specific yoga asanas. For some people might be specific pranayamas, bringing in more air in a specific way. For some people might be the cooling breath. For some people might be the Nadi Shodhana. So depending where that imbalance is. For you guys that are teaching, are brand new yoga teachers, for you having that base is important, because you can support, remind people that they have their choice. If they are feeling too much overheated, do a restorative class. If they're feeling way too much lethargic, come to a booty class or do a little bit more activation class. If they feel that they need to activate their body, their mind a little bit more, do a little bit more Nadi Shodhana or rebalance their mind. They need more heating activation. They can do Kapalabhati, the breath of fire, using some mudras, using some voice, some mantras. Yeah, normally the voice is really important for the Kapha people, because they are down, they are so low, they are more grounded onto the earth and water, so they are not expressing as much, so voice would be important. Some gentle mudras would be important, maybe for the Pitta that's way up there. Meditation would be important for the Pitta. Kapha people might do meditation much easier. Yeah. So again, the doshas are the Vata, the Pitta, and the Kapha. The gunas, that's the tendencies of nature, is tamas, when there is low energy. Rajas, when there is too much energy. Sattva, when there is that balance. Yeah. So there's so much more that I could be talking with you all about Ayurveda. And that would be, I could stay here talking for 3 hours and I would not scratch the surface, because as you did the 200 hours yoga teacher training and we just scratch a little bit, the huge world of yoga is kind of similar with Ayurveda. So I love that you share with me what you got from this gentle talk about Ayurveda. Remember, that is the Ayurveda is the truth of life, the study of that truth, the study of life. And is connected to life from the microcosmos to the macrocosmos. It's connected to all the elements in nature. It's connected to everything that connects to nature. How our eyes are connected to the elements, our ears, our taste, our lips, our skin, our ability to move fast, slow. Yeah, how the environment is affecting us. There are some activities each season, from winter to fall, from winter to spring to summer to fall, that will rebalance our doshas, our vata, our pitta, our kapha, you know? So, so all of those are the support of Ayurveda. Love to hear your questions, love to hear your feedback, and definitely would love to dive deeper into this subject, but unfortunately would not be right to do that now this way. Maybe another time we can get the whole class and we can do a Zoom call with a little bit more in-depth diving through, okay? At the moment, I send you a big, big, big love, and check it in on your kitchen cabinet and observe what type of food are you gearing more to. Observe when you are gearing more to the foods. Observing the people around your life. You start observing, what are they picking up? Are they a little more air? Are they a little more fire? Are they a little more water and earth? Just start to observe people. Start to observe. Do they feel a little more dry? Do they feel oily? Do they feel vibrant? Do they feel a little more lethargic? Just to start to observe life and observe how the seasons is also affecting you, and what you eat, what you don't eat. When you sleep, you don't sleep. Observe all. If you sleep early or if you sleep late, observe how that will affect you. It's all part of life. Much, much love to you. And I will send, well, I cannot tell you when I'm gonna send, because you're gonna be we're gonna be watching this video. So I look forward to talk to you guys soon. I will see you guys on Sunday because you're gonna receive this before then. Much love. Ciao.